Greetings, one and all. Um, Dealing with the YouTube live notifications that I didn't ask for, but I gotta learn how to do this. So I'm just going to ignore that. All right. We will wait a second, see if we get a couple people into the live, then we'll proceed. Actually, no, I'm not going to wait. Good morning, whoever happens to be here. What we're talking about today are 4 essential daily movements. Now, you might think that this has to do with lifting weights and trying to get buff or whatever. We're all trying to do more. We're all trying to add to our physique as much as we possibly can, but the essential daily movements that you have to do don't have much to do with that. So we'll just get started shortly. Okay, one or two is good enough for me. You know what they say, don't encourage him. All right, folks, this is the number one essential daily movement. Now, we may have some ideological differences as far as drinking bottled water, drinking it out of plastic, etc., etc. But you got to make sure you drink water. And you know what? Don't let people bully you about the plastic thing. There's a whole industrial concern behind that, and there are ways to create plastic that is biodegradable and not harmful. Things that just do the job of holding water. But industrial concerns make them always go for the least common denominator. They don't even give you a chance to do the conscientious thing. All right. There's always just a lot of shame, like, oh my goodness, why are you using plastic? Now, I will say that copper copper kills copper has antibacterial properties. So if you're drinking water out of copper containers, then it has some benefits to it. It has quite a few benefits to it, actually. A lot of us are copper deficient. You find yourself going gray too early, then there's a possibility you might be copper deficient. And also iron, because we have parasites in our body, we don't realize it, and they love to consume the heavy metals within the body. So that is one thing to consider. But I'm going to get started with the 4 essential movements that you should make every day or have every day. This is the number one thing. So, but I won't cheat you on the exercise side of things. We'll get started with that, but just make sure you remember you're drinking water. Another thing is walking. Make sure you're walking every day. All right. But what we'll do is concentrate not so much on muscle building or body sculpting, but training the fascia, which is what happens when we stretch. Now, fascia is that connective tissue that surrounds all the muscle and the nerves. And that can get dehydrated, which is why we want to drink water. And you can find yourself having pain throughout the day, and it doesn't even have much to do with muscle, or it's not necessarily a joint pain. You could be having dry fascia and you may have torn it and not even realize it. So what we're going to do is just start with the essentials. So muscle loves to contract. That's all it does. A muscle just contracts. Muscles never push, they only pull. And when they pull and they start contracting, then we start experiencing different pains throughout the body. And the only way to get rid of that is to stretch. So these essential movements will have to do with stretching the muscle and the surrounding fascia. All right, so we'll get started with the neck. The first thing that I want you to do is put your hand behind your back like this, and then catch your elbow. turn your hand up like that. Now, the hand that's up is going to pretend to catch your head. Look down towards that hand. Make sure you take a deep breath as you do this. This is relaxation. I know people who hit the gym every day and they never stretch. All right. Now, the next thing we're going to do is look up in that direction. As you twist, as you extend, you want to breathe. Okay, look back down at the hand. Now, if you go through a traditional stretching exercise routine, it's going to last about an hour. And you're going to run through a variety of things. The only problem I've ever had with those is that you don't spend enough time actually stretching what you really need to stretch. Okay, we're going to switch sides. And again, what you do is reach back here, catch your elbow, and bring it up. All right. And again, we're down towards the hand that's open. You can feel that stretching happening as it takes place. Now we're going to look up. Make sure you're breathing as you stretch. Now we'll let the muscles relax a little bit better. Look back at the hand. Now, these are activities that you can do in the office, on the public transportation. Who cares if they laugh at you? Stretch your neck out. All right? Because otherwise, you have a lot of pain. And that's where it starts. It starts in the neck. And we'll work our way down with the 4 essential movements. Now, the next one is still part of number 1. Starting in the neck. We're going to stay there for a little while. Put your hands together and just look to the left. I guess if you're on the live, you'll be looking right as you follow me, but you're just going to look left and right as far as you can. You might find that the range of motion is better on one side. That's all right. Eventually, we'll loosen it up. Take everything slow. There are no abrupt movements when you are training the fascia, when you're stretching muscles. And remember, these are beginner workouts. If you are an elite muscle head and you happen on this live, your expectations might be different. You can still learn a lot. I still learn from everyone. To me, there's no such thing as an expert. You're always a student. Okay, that's 1. That's not so bad. You should be doing this every day. And I know I don't feel bad coaching people to do that because I know they aren't doing it. And because I know some days I don't do it. All right. The next thing we'll do is we'll loosen up the core area, because a lot of people have lower back issues. Now, if we want to get very detailed, we don't necessarily skip from the neck to the lower back. There's a lot that can happen in between, and we'll get there, but it won't be a detailed program today. What we're doing is working the essentials. All right. So hands on the waist, we step forward and just lean back. Just lean back and then balance yourself again. We'll switch sides. Step forward. Lean back a little bit. Now this is strengthening muscles all over your core because you have to hold yourself steady. Just lean back a little bit. Now make sure you breathe when you do this. The way that we want to breathe as much as possible. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Okay, one more time. Leaning back. All right, the next thing we'll do is we'll go side to side. In order to do that, all you have to do is raise one arm in the air and lean over to the side. Now, as you do this, you look up. We're incorporating the neck all over again. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Now, here's another way to do it. If you got balance issues, put your hand on the wall. You can put your hand on something sturdy, but essentially what we want to do is ground ourselves like this, lift one arm in the air and lean. Everything today is going to be low impact. Look up. All right, we'll switch sides. Just raise one arm in the air. Lean over to the side. If you need to, use this for stability. And then look up. Now remember, as you're looking for that hand. Okay? Wouldn't have you look down as we do that because I don't want it to impact your stability. Everything we do, we got to do safe. These are beginner workouts. And why do we start as beginners? Because you'll always be a beginner. You'll always be a student. You just want to be the best student of the game that you can be. There's always something that you can learn. Okay, it's kind of a mental shift so that you don't feel like you've accomplished everything and you can just, move on. You want to always keep moving forward, especially when it comes to your health and wellness. All right, we're always a work in progress. The minute that stops, you become a work in regress. All right, next thing we're going to do is hamstrings. All right, and when you do hamstrings, it's going to get the lower back. We're going to get the glutes and a lot of other things. We're going to start the beginner way. All right, if you're an expert, you can just put your feet together and just go down, touch your toes. Some people are not able to. It's quite all right to put your hands on your knees and just let yourself ease down. It's also perfectly fine to put a chair here. Now, the next modification, in case it's a little bit difficult for you, just like before, spread your feet a little bit, maybe shoulder length, and just let yourself sink all the way down. Make sure as you do this, you're breathing. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Let yourself relax in that position. Even if you had to put your hands on the couch, it's fine. We'll take whatever progress we can get. All progress is great progress. If this is all you got, don't feel bad about it. Start from where you are. That's one of the things I want to stress to people, okay? A lot of people look at the next person and say, "Oh wow, I'm not like that," whatever. It's just the idea of comparison. It's going to hold you back. There are a lot of people bigger and stronger, faster than you are. Just face it. That's just life. What you want to do is compare yourself to who you were yesterday. Improve on that. And then you're doing your job. Your job is not to outdo this person that you see, the Instagram influencer. They're doing what they have to do. and they actually have someone they're looking at and maybe comparing themselves, and maybe even though they've achieved such, wonderful heights, they don't have a healthy mindset to accompany that. What we want to do is train the mindset from the beginning. So you'll appreciate the small victories. Everything that you do in the way of progress is a victory. And that's how we want to look at life. All right. The next thing that we'll do, we've got pretty much the whole body, but we need to do the front of our legs. So make sure you grab something here for stability, the way I did. Put your hand on the wall if you have to. And all we're going to do is pick up your foot like that and stretch. Now, this can be done while you're watching TV. And before you know it, you'll be able to stretch it all the way back. And for me, this is a very tough one. I don't know why. A really strong quadriceps and wasn't the best at stretching it. So now I have to sink into it. It takes a while every time I do it. Some people, it just comes natural. We're all different. All you have to do is hold this. Take a deep breath. It really does hurt. I don't know why. And it's mostly this leg. Sometimes you sustain an injury and the muscles will tighten up in response to it. And that's a way of your body protecting itself. And sometimes we don't even realize it. All right. Now, for those of you who are advanced, you just grab it without a balance, and maybe use two hands and just stretch and just breathe. Some people are beginner on one side and expert on the other. Nobody's perfect and everybody's different. That's definitely the result of an injury. Wasn't always so careful back in my day. All right, so we've got 4 movements that we've gone through. Initially, we started right here, then we moved to the core, and then we went for our support. In the back, hamstrings and glutes, lower back, and then we hit the quadriceps. Those are the essentials. Now make sure you're walking as much as you can, at least 10,000 steps a day. Make sure you're drinking water. Where did 10,000 steps a day come from? Anybody know? That, I will admit, that's something I heard, and it seemed pretty impossible when I heard it, and it was just something to shoot for. And now it's my habit. I literally will walk around the house in circles if I haven't gotten the steps in. I feel good after having done that. All right, this was not an endorsement. It's just the water we get in our area. Okay, if you have any questions, you can find me on the school platform. And I'm also building my app, but it's beginner workouts. All right, thank you all very much. Have a wonderful day.